Hi everyone.
Good evening.
And welcome again to our channel. And today we're going to talk about some of the time we spent in India when Jane and myself were both in India. And we went to go and see Sathya Sai Baba. Now, we'll talk about him and tell you about what we did. And we'll take some questions from you as we go through. Yeah? So when was it we went, Jane? I think it was, we went to see him around about 1999, was it? Do you think?
1998.
Do you think it was 8?
Yes.
It was 8 or 9. It was just after Diwali, so it would have been October time. They just had all the
We went to visit him in November, ready for his birthday.
Yeah, they just had the monsoons as well, and this was our first trip to India, and quite a trip it was too, because I remember, because we didn't have a lot of money then, so we weren't couldn't afford fancy hotels, and we had some pretty terrible hotels when the day we arrived there. I remember the mosquitoes just covered us,
In Bombay.
and we arrived in Bangalore, on Bangalore Airport. Bombay was a stop on between, wasn't it? And when we got to Bangalore Airport, it was like chaos, wasn't it?
It was all trolleys and people sleeping in trolleys.
Yeah, you couldn't.
People rushing up to take your cases. About 6 people at once. It was quite frightening, really.
You were a bit scared because, you couldn't get a trolley because there's all people sleeping on it. If you wanted to use the toilet, they'd sell you a piece of toilet paper. Oh, Danielle's on here today.
Hello.
Hi, Danielle.
Long time no see. How are you?
So and Danielle, who's just commented there, we had to get her a babysitter. She was how old then? She would have only been 9
or
younger, 8 or 9, So she was having a stay.
She was with my best friend.
She was staying with your best friend, yeah.
I think the most important thing you forgot is we actually met our travelling companions 6 weeks before we made our journey to India. Carol.
Yes, we had, there's quite a long story to it, actually, and it depends how much we talk about it, really, because let's just tell them who Sathya Sai Baba is. Now, he's supposed to be the reincarnation of an earlier person with a similar name called Sai Baba of Shridi, who has a massive influence on Indian culture. And I have to say, there's a lot of controversy around Sathya Sai Baba, and some of that we might come up with some of the questions later, but we can deal with all that later. But I first heard about him, I didn't, because I had a dream about him. And I didn't know who on earth I was dreaming about. And
Did you think it was Jimi Hendrix?
Well, yeah, because he looks like Jimi Hendrix. He has this ridiculous afro haircut. Well, he did, because he's dead now. But he had this ridiculous afro haircut, and we went to meet a medium friend of ours called Jim Chivers, who was another medium, and he had a party, and it was his birthday, and he had some Indian friends there, and we started talking about.
That's right.
They started talking about Sai Baba, and I said, I had a dream about this man, and then of course they all hushed because I'd had a dream about it. I said, yes, and I said he was taking me in the dream. I was working as a mechanic with him, and we're fixing engines. And the Indian man said, this is because she's a mechanic of the soul. He takes you into this workshop and works on you. I thought, yeah, could be. But they were, of course, amazed, because the thing with Sai Baba dreams, they say, and I do believe this myself, is he says, you cannot dream of me without me willing it.
How to dream.
And which means that, they are like super real dreams. They're like meeting the man in person. They are like nothing else, not like an ordinary dream. And you said you've had some dream too, haven't you?
Well, another Sai Baba devotee, I said I had a dream of Sai Baba, and he showed me his ashram, which was pink and blue, beautiful, like a temple and everything. And she said, well, Jane, Sai Baba's ashram is pink and blue. I said, but he said to me, you will sit in the front row on a Thursday, and that exactly happened as I dreamt it.
Yeah, and the same thing happened to me, because I had a dream, not of being in India, but in Morocco, with somebody called Carol, right? And as it happened, the person that took us to India, I couldn't recognize the person in the dream. The person that took us to India was named Carol. She was part of the Sathya Sai Baba's publication trust or something, education and human values. That's she was working on. That's right. And Yeah, and it was amazing because in the dream I dreamed of meeting Sai Baba again. I had another dreamed of meeting Sai, and I'm on the front row, and he goes, interview, right, like this, and I'm front row. Well, after a long and hard journey and a dreadful hotel where we had met a man, and in the hotel, actually, the man there looked just like Mr. Bean, didn't he? He was the absolute spitting image of Mr. Bean. And we'd always had a bit of a joke about that song Margarita too, hadn't we?
Margarita.
Hey Margarita. And Hey Margarita was playing, which was again weird because that was all kind of a synchronization. And Mr. Bean Man was there picking his nose and then come and serving us the food, you know. So it was quite a shock of change of world. And the roads then in Bangalore were all dirt roads. I mean, there was that, weren't they? There was no tarmac on those roads.
Well, we got into a Morris mine, and our suitcase
Morris Oxford.
Was literally tied up with string, and you really got to believe in karma because you're going towards a lorry and suddenly you think, oh my God, this is my time, I'm going to go. And then it just misses it by so many inches.
Yeah, it was funny too because you had to have three blokes push it, you know, to get it started. And then it bangs to a start. And we think, well, God, we're going to go 150 miles or more in this, you know, down dirt roads. You'd see two lorries coming towards you, and the car would just go between the two, you know, two coming towards you, just go between the two, head-on collisions, you know. So that's where you learn to pray, I think, in those situations, isn't it? And yeah, it was very, well, so it was quite an adventure. Your first, anybody going the first time to rural India, it's exhausting, tiring. You arrive there exhausted, and then it's everybody got to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to what they call darshan when you see Sai Baba, you know. And
explain, you have to draw, you queue up with Japanese people from like all over the world, and you have to draw straws, and Japanese people are very, very well mannered, and they let you go first and things.
Well, what happens is they put everybody in lines. You line up in lines, and you have so many people in these lines, and then one line is called. And I happen to be in the front of one line, and Jane must have been on the front of another line, because when I went in,
men and women are separate.
I was the first person to walk in there, you know, which was just like in my dream, you know. And I thought, this is strange. And then I meander to wherever you've got to sit, and everybody's dashing to get in the front row, and I just sort of sit down and think, oh, I didn't realise that it's ever so hard to get front row seats, as it were. You all sit on the floor, but it's front row.
And I can remember when I went in there, I was looking at the most beautiful Indian people have beautiful decorations and that, and I was looking at the crystal chandeliers, and one Indian said, Auntie, the Italian people gave that. And I was sitting on this floor, which must have been a concrete floor, marble floor, about 4 hours. And I was thinking, Sai Baba, hurry up and have your breakfast, because this is worse than childbirth, cross-legged on the floor. And there was children crying, and you could see monkeys running around, and you had all the birds crowing. And all of a sudden, this little dot of an orange figure suddenly walked along slowly, and he came towards me. He looked at me and he laughed. And I thought, oh my goodness, he's picked up my thoughts. Yeah,
and it's a strange thing too, because, and then he came over to my side as well. And again, because we didn't realise the significance and importance of this first time you've ever been there. And he seemed, first of all, he was talking to someone on my right. And the thing that struck me more than anything was the quality of his voice. He was talking to this person in a way that was so gentle and kind. It was just amazing. And then he almost goes like a Dalek, because he kind of drifts along, you know, you can't see his feet move. And then right next to somebody that I was sat next to, he came right up to me, and I'm about this far from him, you know, and he materializes vibhuti out of his fingers to the person next to me. Now, people say, okay, he hides it up his sleeve and does all sorts of tricks with it. And for some people, I think that has actually happened. But I saw this vibhuti appearing away from his fingers, because I was so close I could see it just like that. And for me, I thought, that is amazing. It's not someone doing a tablet or something. He was going like this, you know, with and it was pouring out his fingers, and I could see the gap. So for me, I thought, my God. And it was like, there was like in my brain, there's like someone got a stick and gone crack. I could actually hear a crack noise when I saw it, because I thought, I am witnessing something here that is not normal, not normal reality. I have seen what I've talked about a lot of times, is that reality is completely moldable. We can change it. So that for me was a very, very important moment, you know, very important.
I think for me, I was traveling with an Indian doctor and just thinking about people around the world generally, people to be healed. And then a man came up to me and said, Auntie, Sai Baba wants you in a temple. I didn't have a clue what the inner temple was. And I ran round the back of the ashram, the temple. And then we went into an inner temple and it had the most beautiful solid silver doors. And it had like angels painted on the ceiling. And it had Krishna's chariot at the back. And I sat at the back taking all this in. And Sai Baba sat there, was laughing. And suddenly he put his hand up like this. And I smelled this incredible smell of jasmine go all over me. And I said to Pretty, can you smell that? And she said, that's when God blesses you. Didn't think anything of it. And then I saw the Ark of the Convent with the 4 angels, winged angels. You know,
yeah, he had something like that there, didn't he? It's the Ark of the a facsimile of the Ark of the Covenant, and also and Krishna's chariot, and all sorts of fascinating
and
stuff.
People being curiosity went to go and touch it, and he said, "Don't touch that to a lady, you will die." Of course, everyone moves back, of course. And what I find still incredible to this day, Craig asked me one day, "What would you like for Christmas?" Well, there wasn't anything I particularly wanted, though I was a follower of Sai Baba, and Craig commissioned. Desai, was it Desai that painted
Bhupendra
painted a beautiful
Bhupendra Desai,
painted a painting of Sai Baba, and Sai Baba actually came down from where he lived and put his hand in it. I've got his handprint in that painting.
Yeah, and we never had an actual personal interview with Sai Baba. When I looked at him, I heard the words in my head very loud say inner view. And I thought, oh, I don't get an interview, I get an inner view. So that I had to accept that, even though someone came up to me and tried to pull me in and say, "You've been called to see Sai Baba, you've been called to see him," and I think, what, and they pull me in, and then sorry, wrong group. You know, I thought,
just your luck.
I thought that is my life. You know? But Bhupendra, for example, but when you listen to people's stories, you know, because you start meeting people and talking to people, incredible things have happened. I mean, Bhupendra, who made that painting that Jane just talked about, when he was dying, I phoned him because I'd phoned, and he was actually on his deathbed when I'd called, and he was talking to me on his phone, and he said he was just talking with such bliss that he could see Sai Baba stood in his room. Now, you don't make that sort of thing up, do you? You know, and you don't cheat someone like that, because he could see it. He was in bliss, saying, and I'm talking to him as he's dying on the phone. His wife handed me the phone. I was one of the last people to speak to him.
It's a divine thing happening,
you know. And I knew that man, and he was an artist. He began to lose his sight almost completely, and yet he was having this incredible vision. I mean, and I've spoken to so many people, you know. And if you look at the interviews and things that you see on television, there's Sojourns, which is a fantastic YouTube channel to go and have a look at, where you listen to people talking. But I've spoken to people that wrote all the books. I mean, I spoke to Sandvice, who wrote the Psychiatrist Meets Sathya Sai Baba, Sai Baba and the Psychiatrist, and he was an interesting man. I've spoken to the wife of Yucca, what was his name, who was the scientist, the nuclear rocket scientist. And
Crystal,
and we also the lady that wrote the books.
Crystal.
Yeah, I didn't speak to Phyllis Crystal. I've forgotten the name. The lady I was in contact with over and over again. She used to write the magazine, and she wrote the Sai Baba, and where they asked about mediumship. I'm looking for Michelle. I can't remember her name. Oh, what was her name? The spiritualist lady.
I don't think I've got a clue you're talking about.
No, I've forgotten. Anyway, her and her husband wrote another well-known book. She was the editor of Two Worlds for Spiritualism for a long time, and she sent me all the letters. And then also Bhupendra used to send out vibhuti to people, and I've got a massive file like this of people who wrote letters back saying that they were cured of cancer and things like this. Unbelievable letters, and we were sending it out because if anybody came to the website and they saw the article of Sai Baba, I said, well, if you want to get some vibhuti, you can go and speak to Vibhendra here, you know, and he would send them some, and he sent me all the letters in the end. And testimonials that nobody asked for, and they just sent these, and they was just saying that they were completely cured. So when you see the controversy that people talk about him, because the BBC did a hatchet job on him and accused him of being all sorts of terrible things, including a paedophile and all sorts of things, and the worst possible accusations were thrown at him. But when you start seeing the actual when you meet people and you see the testimonies that people have, it's only then, because like I say, with so many things, you have to trust what your personal experience is. And I even met the guy that did all the put all this in the public eye. What was his name? The pianist guy. I forgot.
David Bailey.
David Bailey. He rang me up just after he did this, and he was in tears talking to me when he said about it. And he's saying, "Oh, they're saying terrible things," and he put it all forward, you know. So you know, it's a mind boggler, you know. But I think it was either a hatchet job by the Catholic Church, because there was a lot of priests were
all
converting.
Spiritual masters and avatars. They always get people that try to condemn them, and that it's all jealousy. And
I think the thing that when I went there, the thing I thought about it is, I saw so many different people there. Some people were really sort of blissed out type of people, and other people looked like they had a lot of bad psychological problems. And I thought, every person that's here is seeing this through different eyes. You know, we're not in the same place. We're all experiencing it according to our level of understanding. And karma, yeah. So some of us were seeing one thing and others were seeing others. And like you say, we were seeing it through the glasses of our own karma. So maybe some people see one thing and some people see another.
Depends what level you're on.
Yeah, oh, like that is an Italian guy. I can't remember his name either, because it goes back a bit now, and I've got a bad memory for names. I was talking to, and he said he saw Sai Baba materializing, incredible materializing. He said he did a materialization in which a ring appeared above the hand. He had his hand out like that, and a ring appeared, and it dropped into his hand out of solid air. He said nobody could have said that was a trick. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then he turned round to the person behind him, and you see him go like this and come out of a sleeve and do an obvious trick. And the guys on one side were laughing because they just saw the real thing. And on the other side, because those people had to see it differently, they saw a trick. So I thought, well, you know, people say, is he true or is he not? And I say, he's both. You know, does he fake it or does he not? It's both. Because it all depends on the person watching it. And I think that's a very, very hard thing for people to accept, this kind of dichotomy that comes from that. And that's why I think, to your own truth be true, really, because only what you see
seeing is believing, as they say.
Yeah. So that's where we come from with that. And it was quite an extraordinary experience. I mean, we only went once to see Sai Baba. Some people went every year all the time.
We've had many dreams too, Sai Baba.
Many dreams of him. And actually, you, Jane, you've had people come to see you who said they've come to see you because they had a dream of Sai Baba, who told them to find you.
Yes.
And they didn't even know you were.
Yeah.
Is that true?
It's true. And they put flowers around me, a garland of flowers, and touch my feet and that. But I always think people are sent, who's meant to be sent. And perhaps, you know, people are always searching for God, aren't they?
Yeah. So have you got any questions about Sathya, Sai Baba, or you've had experiences, or, you know, I don't even mind negative questions, whatever you want to say and ask, please text them, put them in the comments. And and of course, we're very interested in Indian teachers anyway, as you know. Is Danielle a psychic too? No, she would say no. I think she is, but she would say no.
She has got it.
She came from a Gothic background, so you deny everything.
Yeah, she's very intuitive, very intuitive.
Were there any particular places you visited in India that you immediately felt connected to?
Puttaparthi, definitely.
So Puttaparthi was where we went to see Sai Baba. So Jane just came the once.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went, I've been back to India a number of other times. And I think Mahabalipura was one of the places that I found particularly fascinating. That's the one where they got Shiva's butterball, as it were, a huge balancing stone that's just balanced you know, and they couldn't be shifted. They in the past they tried to move it
It's
with
on
elephants
CD,
and things.
isn't it, Craig?
It's on Mystic
DVD.
Journey to India. If you want to watch that on Amazon Prime, you can go and watch that.
It's called
Mystic Journey to India on Amazon Prime. It's free to watch if you're a Prime member. But Michael Palin went there too, and joked all about it. But that place, oh yeah, amazing. And that's where Graham Hancock talked about the pre-Diluvian, pre-flood civilizations, and that those temples go far out into the sea. So Mahabalipura was mind-boggling space, actually. What did you find most interesting about India, Jane, when you were there?
I found it interesting. The Indian people generally non-violent. Although the Indian people, most of them were poor, they still could have a smile on their face. And I just liked how all like harmony floated, if you like, when we were praying and in the ashram, how you all felt connected as one.
And you found the shops, of course, in Bangalore, I remember.
Oh, so what's wrong with that?
Well, we went to a sari shop.
Well, it wasn't my
and you
fault.
spent a whole budget on a sari. It was a wedding sari. It was enormously
But there
expensive.
again, I've got to stop you, Craig, because we were going with a person that was part of the education of Sai Baba, and she took us to the most expensive
They did rather,
sari
yeah.
shop. And I like beautiful things, and I saw that.
It came in remarkably useful, though, didn't it? Do you remember? Because you used that when Sharavana came.
It came in useful, and Sharavana was the first person that I put on. I got a throne, put it on like a throne. He sat on it. He's a very high spiritual guru, and he came to this house, so he was pleased with that.
And again, if you read my book, God is Everywhere, I've written a book about Sharavana. I've just recently been out to India to see him too. That's another
He's still here
holy
in London,
man who we feel is very much akin with Sai Baba, because same sort of energy. And when I had a dream of Sai Baba, for example, coming to our front door, and I couldn't recognize his face. And it was exactly the same as when Sharavana actually came to our house. So he came in a new form.
I don't know if I had a past life with Sai Baba, but I definitely had a past life with Sharavana, because he recognised me from a past life and said we played together in India.
Yeah, and Sharavana said to me, "You've had a past life. We both all had a past life with Sai Baba."
Oh.
So he also has the vibration of Sai Baba of Shridi, which is the earlier Sai Baba. So if you go to, when I went to Sharavana's ashram, he's got pictures of Sai Baba, Shridi Sai Baba and Sathya Sai Baba around the ashram, and and statues of him and things, and a special temple dedicated to him.
And Danielle has actually seen Sai Baba walk past the London when she was a little girl, because she frightened her. She said she saw a man in an orange robe.
When she was little, she said that, and she didn't know who he was. Have you both had a Kundalini awakening? Well, it depends what you mean, doesn't it?
Really, about yoga.
Yeah, well, if you follow my ones I've been doing on the meditation, those are all about Kundalini, basically. And I've done Kundalini yoga, if you call it that. But it's kind of got a bad press, Kundalini. And I watched a few videos on YouTube. And if I had any hair, I'd tear it out, because there's been some absolute nonsense being spoken about Kundalini. And if you have practiced yoga properly, and you have done, which I prefer to call it Kriya, if the Maha Babaji's teachings, Yogananda was probably one of the best teachers to the West to teach the Kundalini. So if you want to do that, I would go to the Self-Realization Fellowship, though I haven't done that myself. I've done it through other sources.
There's one in Los Angeles.
So, but it's not like pow. It's not like, you know, it's people misunderstand it. I think the Kundalini is working all the time. That light is going up the spine all the time, and you can pull the light up the spine and enter those states without such a radical wrenching. So it doesn't have to be an epiphany. It's natural. You know, everything is God. We're all in God. That's what it is. It's infinite. It's beyond form. You know. So the Kundalini is like just the function of the body and the spirit body when one enters higher consciousness. But keep your questions coming about India. Is there anyone who is similar to Sathya Sai Baba?
I don't think there'll be anybody like Sai Baba. There was only one Sai Baba, but Sharavana Baba is, I feel, a beautiful embodiment of spirituality as a guru on a different level. Sai Baba was an avatar. Sharavana is such a sweet person. You can feel his energy and his love, and he's got remarkable psychic abilities or clairvoyance, hasn't he?
Yeah, and saying that though, Sathya Sai Baba said he's going to come back again as a man called Prima Sai, and again, huge controversy because there's somebody in Mudihari that is channeling Sai Baba, and they treat him like Sai Baba and as if Sai Baba's invisibly walking with him. And this is all a little bit mind-boggling too. Some people I've spoken to are absolutely 100% convinced with that. Other people, like if you look up Sandweiss's website, he's very against it because he's had other messages coming through his psychiatric patient, for example, who started talking in Sanskrit. And when and she can't speak Sanskrit, and when the Sanskrit's translated, it talks that this is wrong, you know, and then others see it as right. So I can't talk because I'm not talking from personal experience on that. I've not been there. So I think Prima Sai is coming back again, but from what I've heard, and people have spoken to me, that there's quite a few secret things going on in India about this, with people not sharing everything that's out there. But some are saying that he's already been born again and is in a child form at the moment, and has not had his full awakening yet. And then a point will come, because it happened in Sathya Sai Baba's life when he kind of suddenly realized who he was and everything changed. So yes, he has three. He said he's going to come back. I believe he will come back. I don't think we need to fantasize and try to push around it. Just look, wait until it happens. It will happen. I'd like to ask you if you know who the last incarnation of Sai Baba is.
You just answered that.
Well, Prima Sai is the next incarnation of Sathya Sai Baba, and before that was Shridi Baba. So he talks about 3 incarnations as what you call an avatar, which is like a person that is not evolved in the same way we have. It comes direct from God, I suppose, direct from the divine. So Jesus would be an avatar. Krishna would be an avatar. The great enlightened beings are considered as avatars, and each age, like we're in the age of Kali Yuga, each age has avatars that come, and we're in the very dark age now. But Sathya Sai Baba said the dark age continues, but we will have a short period of a golden age, and by a short period, 2,000 years soon.
Did Sai Baba do any healing when you saw? Well, I took envelopes with people with all different healings. Sometimes he would go like this. It's like it wasn't ready for them to be cured, and other times he would take it. So I would say he would take every letter, not most letters, who was going to be healed. And I think he had healing powers too.
Oh, definitely had healing. His aura was incredible.
I tell you, I saw a mother with a child that she was trying to feed, and this child couldn't talk. And Sai Baba went past, and he just went like this. And the child suddenly was trying to talk to the mother. Oh, it moved me so much. I had tears in my eyes, because the mother was trying to feed this child. Obviously, the child couldn't talk, and suddenly, mama, like that. It just touched me so much. So yes, I see he was a healer.
Yeah, it's interesting because Jane and I had different experiences in many ways, because the men and the women are kind of separate through the day.
Do you want to answer that one?
About his there's a really good book out there called Sai Kingdom Come, which is a fantastic book, and you can go and look it up on the web. You'll find his website. There's a whole amazing website about people's stories who've had dreams of the return of Sai Baba. Many of them seem to think that he might resurrect in his actual physical form, in the similar sort of idea to what happened to the alleged resurrection of Jesus, and will come back in the exact form. Because again, his nadis, they found Sai Baba's nadis, and the nadis say all sorts of mind-boggling stuff. So it's such a big topic there. And again, how can we answer it? Because these things are so mind-boggling that you can't get your head around it.
Explain what the nadi is.
People know about the nadi because I talk about it nearly every time I come on it. Yeah, what advice would you give to someone who's going to start exploring the spiritual side of India?
Well, I think just go what your heart tells you. If you feel you've got to be, say, in Kerala, perhaps to go and see Sharavana Baba, then you will know when the time's right. And I think, if you're doing a deep meditation and you really feel you want to explore, go and follow your heart. So
You've got to find out from your own personal experience, because the problem is these type of things, particularly it seems with spirituality, attract all the crazies as well, don't they? I mean, look at our field with psychic work. Look at the crazies out there, some of the guys and women out there that do this work. I look at them and think, oh, how can I be associated with this nonsense, And I'm sure that some of you that are watching this, you're interested in all the spiritual things, and yet we also have to put up with all this crackpot stuff. And it's the same in India, actually, because there's an awful lot of people there that are kind of off on all sorts of strange stuff, and people making money and a living out of these things as well, curing snake bites by blowing flames over you and things, So there's a mix. And remembering, even in this age of Kali Yuga, even the gurus can get corrupted, because it's the dark age. It's the very, very dark age of spirituality. But if you keep seeking, you keep looking, you will find incredible things, but you'll find it amongst a load of rubbish as well. I mean, you'll find all sorts of gurus out there that, I wouldn't give them a moment of my time, because, we've come across bad ones. And I think, no, those people are just wrong, very, very wrong, and doing evil by misusing the truth. But there's good ones. And what about Vivekananda? Fantastic man. You don't know much. Yes. You know about Vivekananda? Well, Vivekananda was he came to the West as one of the first great teachers from the East to come to the West. And he came to a big spiritual conference in Chicago and actually wowed America and the world by his intellectualism, his incredible take on Indian culture. And he was the devotee of Ramakrishna, who was he was a crazy man, really, Ramakrishna. He was he'd eat garbage and things, and he'd dance with the statue of Kali and shock everybody. He had no barriers, he was incredible. He was just completely blissed out. Vivekananda was a different type of mindset, very clever. He was a devotee of Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna was another avatar. But Vivekananda, I went to Vivekananda's rock where he was enlightened, and I also went to Calcutta and went to Ramakrishna's temple there, where Vivekananda sat with Ramakrishna. Like, for example, Ramakrishna, his teacher, could not handle money, could not touch money. So to test him, they hid a Pay's coin under his bed. And Ramakrishna got into the bed and he absolutely leapt off. I don't know the full story, but it was absolutely dramatic that he couldn't get near it, because one coin, because they carried such bad vibrations of karma. He was that open and sensitive to things. So Vivekananda, and actually there's some great, if you want to listen about Vivekananda, some of the societies in America do lots of interesting audiobooks on it, free ones. And you can get the whole works of Vivekananda for next to nothing on Amazon. They subsidize it. So it's well worth exploring.
Any more questions? What's this? The Full Monty. Who's this?
The Full Monty's a good name.
Oh, Babaji.
Maybe we should get you on the video. We can start doing video links.
Oh, well, we don't want to see
someone like the Full Monty.
We don't want to be seeing that.
You're talking about Babaji, you're talking about Maha Avatar Babaji, Yogananda's teacher of teachers, actually, the whole lineage. And there's a number of great saints in India that are still alive, who are supposed to be thousands of years old. I mean, my direct connection with this is that through the Nadi leaves again, because it was Agastya who taught Babaji, who is the great saint of India, who writes through the Jiva Nadi, and you get these miraculous messages. So if that's possible, then Babaji's possible. And I believe that there could well be a Babaji still living that's been here thousands of years. And Babaji is supposed to be the person that sent who met Christ when he came to India and helped him with his mission.
So he lives in the Himalayas, yes.
He lives in the Himalayas, yeah, and is still there allegedly. And sometimes people see him materialize in their room. I've not had that, but they see he
do tonight.
Well, I hope so. And incredible things. I mean, if you want to read more about that, read my books, of course. But if you read Autobiography of a Yogi, wow, if you haven't read that, you must read that. That's a must book for everybody to read. It's a fantastically beautiful book. And there's another one on Amazon actually as well, that's all about Yogananda. I can't remember the name of it now. I've forgotten it. Simple word, one worder it is, but it's good. Have we any avatars living in Europe or the UK?
Well, there's one avatar at the moment that's got stuck that can't get back on a plane with Sharavana.
Yeah, Sharavana. I don't know if he's an avatar.
Well,
I see him as a guru and a teacher and a very high spirit, and he's, he's a fantastic guy. I don't know. There's no reason we couldn't have avatars everywhere,
But any avatars come forward when the time is right, don't they?
See, and avatars, they're kind of, there's another word that's been misused. Like, I remember we met this American woman, didn't we? Yeah. And she says, oh, I've done a special course. Oh, have you? I'm now an avatar. Oh, are you? Oh, that's marvelous. You're an avatar. Right. And she does this special course and gets a certificate. And now she's an avatar, And then every guru, everybody calls their gurus avatars, all of them, And so you think, well, it's a bit of a misused word. So very, very high people of high spirituality, they're all over the place. They're in the West and in the East. And sometimes I think they walk quietly amongst us. We don't even know who they are. And we may meet them day to day and not even know it. Because an enlightened soul can walk with you, and they can hide their enlightenment or they can show it and reveal it. And you might not even spot them. Because everything is spirituality. Everything is about the awakening to higher consciousness. India is a very special place, I think, where it particularly happens, though. There are thousands of years of the consciousness. What would be the life mission of Sai Baba in his next life? What would you think about that, Jane? Well, we're talking from opinion here. But...
Well, I think what's happening around the world with all this virus, I've noticed that people are becoming more kinder, more considerate, thinking of others. It's only the selfish ones with I don't care attitude. And I think that when Sai Baba does come around again, which I believe he will, the world will be a much higher vibration and a different place.
Yeah, and someone said to me that I've spoken to lots of devotees of Sai Baba and also of Mudihara and also all the people. One that kind of impressed me is that they were talking about the messages that Sai Baba gave is that in his next incarnation, he will be so impossible to interpret. He won't be like as connected in the same way that we found. Sathya Sai Baba was a very funny man sometimes. He was humorous. He had a real wit about him. And he had a way with words that, in simple words, his words are almost like advertising slogans. They stuck in your mind, But they say that his next form is almost like a madman. It's almost like we can hardly understand what he's saying. It's a bit like interpreting when the ancient Greeks used to interpret the Delphic oracle. They had to interpret it. And this is how I've been told it's supposed to be, that he will be almost beyond human comprehension in the normal sense. And that's as best I can say for that. And his mission would be to continue the mission of all existence, which is ultimately for awakening. And to move away and out of this dark era that we're in at the moment. And the world itself will force us in that way, just like this virus does.
I've actually seen on our guru, on Sharavana's face, a transfiguration, that his face changed. And I actually saw Swami come over his face.
Yeah. So there are lots of gurus on YouTube. Are any of these genuine, do you think?
Well, I don't know. Lots of them
well, like I say, you can only do it by personal contact. That's really, right. you can talk to someone, you know, I mean, me and Jane can talk all about mediumship and all the rest of it, and you can think, yes, I can believe in that, but not until you go and get a real message from a medium and someone says to you something that you think, my God, there's no way they could have known that, then you can prove it. You know, you could do this just within spiritualism, for example. You can get a message and it can prove to you that mediumship's real. And it's the same, I think, when you go to see these gurus and things. I mean, I get a little bit put off by mass movements. I mean, I'm not a joiner, you know. I always believe in trying to do things. If anybody's going to be enlightened, I'm going to have to do it for myself, not someone else do it for me. And I think that's what we should all think. You know, I come into this world a student. I want to leave this world a teacher. You know, and that's what we should all do.
It's a nice way,
and it's so I'm not a devotional type of person, but some people, they love to be in devotional. Some people love doing all the rituals and the pujas and things, and that's good. That's fine, you know. So like I say, it's many people come in different levels, and I think gurus work on different levels, and if you connect on the right way, then you can tell if they're true or not. Craig, I think you mentioned something about Christian mysticism in one of your books. Do you and Jane plan to explore aspects of it, maybe trips to Jerusalem?
We were going to go to Jerusalem this year.
Well, we should be in Delphi now, actually, in Greece, actually, because we were supposed to fly today, and of course it was all cancelled. And Riviera Travel, who don't give their money back, I would quote, never use them. Yeah, but hopefully we will go there. We were going to go to Jordan, weren't we?
We were going to go to Jordan, Patron, Jerusalem, and Bethlehem. And that to actually go and take steps back there, because we try to go to spiritual places as much as we can.
We would naturally, but obviously we take our cameras with us nowadays and do what we can to sort of share the experience, because I mean, these spiritual places are fantastic. I mean, I spent a year in Israel when I was young, about 19, I think I was 18 or 19, and went to on a kibbutz and lived the kibbutznik life, which was fantastic. It was a farming kibbutz to Ashdod Yaakov, if anyone else has been there. Fantastic experience, exhausting and tiring experience again. And they took us all over and showed us all the places. And I went down beneath the Dome of the Rock. Now, that is one of the most sacred places on earth, because the Islamic dome's been built on there, but it's been built on the old temple that was the Jewish temple. And you can go down underneath it.
Go shalom.
But when you go underneath the temple, my God, there's a staircase that takes us down, and they let us go in. They were very accommodating. I don't think you'd be able to get there nowadays like that. You might be able to. And the energy there, they said, oh, you can hear the voices of the dead when you go down there, the mullah said as he took us down. And
did you?
I did. I could feel it. It was an echoing place. And this is really before my mediumship had properly developed. And so the Christian mysticism, Gnosticism and things like that, yeah. I mean, they're all the same as the Jewish and the Christian and the Hindu and all the teaching. At heart, when we get all the rubbish and the bullshit out the way, you get to the heart of it and you find it's all the same. See, what happened with Christianity is it got ruined by the Romans, basically. Constantine took it on board and then politicized it. And then they got all the Gnostic Gospels and brought them together at what was called the Council of Constantine and Council of Nicaea and Constantinople and Constantine and Justinicus's teachings, and just basically tore it all apart and said, well, keep that, get rid of that, you know. I am wondering if Sathya Sai Baba is still listening to us.
Well, I think he's listening to us right now, Greg.
I'm sure. Well, he doesn't just listen to us. You see, the thing with Sathya Sai Baba, you don't have to listen to other people what says about that. If you want to connect with Sai Baba, they say he will connect with you.
Dreams.
Directly, you know. He will direct you through dreams. And he'll directly connect with you if you look at a photograph of him long enough.
And with meeting the right people.
And through coincidences, yeah.
We've been in places, I mean, suddenly gone into a workshop, this in the Isle of Wight, and somebody had a photograph of Sai Baba. Then we went to the Seychelles, I think to help these people. They were making shirts and that. And there was a picture of Sai Baba. Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, we have to tell the whole stories. But, I mean, basically, yeah, it's coincidences. You kind of bump into those people at appropriate times. And I know that one of the patrons on the website, you know, become a patron if you want to watch some of our stuff live and do the meditations. But Yeah, sent me some of the vibhuti that's being materialized in India all the time. There's pictures of Sai Baba that have been materializing this vibhuti, which is like a sacred ash, a healing ash. And they sent me some of it because it's constantly photographs of pouring ash to this day, and have been doing it for years and years and years and years. And another thing called amrit, which is like a liquid that comes
Like
off.
oil.
So, you know, I mean, these are mind-boggling things I'm talking about here. I mean, you know, and I don't expect anyone to believe it, but find out. See if you have a dream. If you have a dream, you'll know it's very different. I am new with Indian culture. It's through you both that I got interested. I need help. Very confusing. Yeah, I mean, Indian culture is not just Indian culture. I mean, if you look at Indian culture, this whole, just like in the West, you say, I'm interested in Christianity. Okay, what sort of Christianity? Born again Christians, Mormons, Catholics, Protestants. You know, there's all these different branches of belief systems. And in India, it's the same. You've got those that there's all types of different forms within Hinduism. And then you've got Jainism, and you've got Buddhism, and you've got Zoroastrianism, which is actually not really Indian, but all sorts of. India is a melting pot. And so you can get easily confused. So I would suggest, if you find it difficult, find something simple to read about it first. Vivekananda, who someone mentioned earlier, is a very good, clear thinker. I would also suggest Yogananda, Parasama Yogananda. Read that one. I suggested Autobiography Yogi. That's nice and clear. And if you've got Christian thoughts, I mean, he wrote some fantastic stuff. The what was it called? It's the Second Coming of Christ. Expensive, heavy, thick, biblical-sized books. But that has also recently been published in the last few years, I believe. That is also gives you a Christian view of things, of how it relates, if that's a barrier for you. And anyway, Indian stuff's not a religion. It's not really a religion if you look at it. It's not even a philosophy. It's a dharma. It's a sanatana dharma. It's a path, and it's universal for all mankind. And it doesn't reject anything. I mean, you can have whatever religious faith you want, and you'll find that if you really follow the path and don't get sucked into sidetracked, you keep to the actual essence of it, it's all the same, you know. The same thing that you find also in China too with Taoism. I mean, I'm very interested in the I Ching, which I do with my readings and things, and that's almost the essence of it is exactly the same as Indian teachings.
I was talking about Saravana Baba.
Oh no, he's talking about Sadhguru. I have mixed feelings, you know.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, I like him.
I know who you're on about now. He's very much an intellectual, I'd say, and he has a big following, and he's very good at what he does. And it's very expensive. It is in very expensive.
Well, like I said, I have mixed feelings. When I went to India, there's huge, great billboards with him on. You know, I thought, well, why does a guru need that? You know, huge billboards everywhere with his face on it. And the people that were with me said, "Oh, we don't like him. We don't like him. He's too commercial, right?" And so a lot of the actual Indians rejected it a bit. I listened to his talks, and I'm very impressed with the way he speaks.
It's intellectual. Yeah,
I mean, I watched one of his talks about the yugas, and I thought, God, this man really knows his stuff. You know, he's a very, very educated man, and he does explain it very clearly. I put him more on a level with someone like Deepak Chopra, a very clever man and very intellectually
he's a bit higher
awake.
than that, Craig.
But I don't know whether I can't put him on the same levels as the people that enlightened gurus. I mean, I've not been with him. When I say, for example, when I've been to see Saravana, what I'm impressed with is I go up to him and we don't even have to have a conversation. He'll tell me what I've been talking about with my friend. He'll answer my question before I've even spoken it. You know, like one that recently I mentioned it in another video we did. I was talking in the queue to go and see him. I just arrived, and I was talking to him, my friend, about the difference between Atman and Brahma. Okay, the idea of a conscious self, an existent self, and an absolute self. It was one of the big old chestnuts of Hinduism, really. You know, does a self exist? You know, And he repeated the conversation back to me. And I'd handed him some sweets as a gift. And he said, it's just like this. It's Atma and Brahma, sweet, beautiful on the outside, sweet on the inside. So the two things were the same, beauty and sweetness. But he said that without me asking a question.
What does he call me?
He calls you Shakti and he calls me Shiva. I think he's flattering me.
Explain what that is to people who don't understand it, some people.
Would you promote or dedicate anything regarding Sai Baba in your new centre? Well, we are obviously, as those that are following us know, that we're trying to follow the predictions that were given in the Nadis to open a centre.
And for everybody.
It will be, anything we do is non-religious. You know, it's spirituality, not religion. So therefore, everything is accepted and everything, but yet doctrine and is rejected in a way. I don't want, rules and regulations and doctrines. Really, when you look at it, it's all the same. So you can put a picture next of Sai Baba up next to a picture of a rendition of Gandhi or Jesus, or you can't put a picture of Muhammad up. But I mean, all the same. It's all the same, and I don't see why. The ancient Greeks and ancient Romans used to have the pantheon, didn't they? It was the temple to all gods. And that was a good idea. They used to have all the ones for the gods, and then just in case, we'll have one for all of them, in case we missed one of the gods out. I think that was the thinking behind it. Whether they not miss one. But the idea of a pantheon, I think, is really the idea when it comes to religious things, and to separate this idea of religion and spirituality. You don't have to be religious to be spiritual. I mean, religion are teachings, they're useful, but people get so tied up in it. And that's not just Western, but Eastern stuff as well. You end up so intellectualized that we are forgetting the very simple, direct experience that comes from natural spirituality,
I believe in God.
Yeah, and again, people believe in God in different ways too. Some see God as outside, some see God as inside, some see God as all of it. God's one of those words that's a difficult one, but
You're
basically,
God, I'm God, everything's God.
Exactly. So have you visited Sedona on your travels? The energy there is supposed to be amazing. That's in America, isn't it? No, we haven't. No, so we can't answer that one. But I have heard a lot about it. Isn't Sedona the one where all the spiritualists are? So yeah, I've not done that one, so I can't really answer that one for you. I'm just keeping a check in case I'm getting messages from Domenico at all. No, it seems to be all right. See, we keep in touch. We've got a little iPad down here. We got screens everywhere, and it just looks like us at home. But we can do this sort of thing remotely, which is pretty good.
What's this?
Can you please write some names of books and or authors you recommend for newbies to Indian culture on the page of this live chat? Well, yeah, I can go back later. Yeah, Jane's getting my new one. Okay, yeah, that's my one. I always recommend my books.
God is everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's Sharavana Baba.
And often it's very different for people, really, what books will appeal to you, see. I mean, some of the books...
This one?
yeah. I would suggest, there's a whole... I've got, as you can see, I've got books loads all over the place, everywhere. And I've read so many books on it. I'm trying to think which would be good, simple introductions. I think I should go for the Vivekananda, because someone brought that up earlier on, and he's a really good introduction. Yeah, just write that. Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, actually, the Vivekananda I think is a good one to do. And like I say, the Yogananda's books are also a very good introduction. Kanchi Paramacharya. That name, some people have talked to me about it, but I don't feel. Yes, I know about it, but I don't know enough about it to be able to do justice, because I've not studied the teachings there enough to be able to do it justice. There's so many teachers in India, past and present, and their vibrations are still with us, really. The energy with them is still here.
Yogananda is good.
Yeah, well, yeah, but when you go to the places, I also like Baba Ram Das, who worked with Timothy Leary.
God.
Yeah, I know, but he puts things in very clear ways. He died just recently, I think. But he a very good teacher. He wrote the book Be Here Now. And that was another one that really inspired me early on, you know, and he put all that sort of thing into perspective. And then simple stuff. You see, all the stuff I read now is quite complicated stuff, isn't it? It's finding the simple works is the good. But yeah, there's lots of stuff out there.
Full Monty.
Where are some of the less flattering stories about him true? Well, that's a hard one to answer, you see, because less flattering is a nice way of putting it. I mean, there were absolutely dreadful things that were said.
What about Osho?
Yeah, well, Osho was pretty bad, but so he's talking about Sai Baba here, you know, and what happened with him. I mean, you see, the thing is, there's people out there like Priddy who go through every single little aspect of Sai Baba and discredit it, you know, and you start reading that and you think, oh yeah, it's all true, you know, but then you start looking at your own experience and you think, well, how can that? It can't possibly be, because I'm no fanatic over it, you know. I mean, and none of the people I've ever met are kind of fanatic. They don't all get sucked into, you know, will believe everything no matter what.
We didn't, when we were there, we didn't see any strange.
There was nothing odd when I never saw anything strange.
He worked very hard, I thought.
Yeah, and
you do darshan twice, early in the morning and late afternoon, and you know, there's such a lot of people there, and then
there was weird stuff, though. There was an assassination attempt on him, for example. A group of gunmen tried to kill him who were ex-devotees from early on, you know. So question marks over that. There was all big question marks about what happened to the money at the end and millions of bullion vans and things. But these are all stories, and they're very hard to... He was never actually prosecuted for anything. And then question. I worry about things like, you know... Yeah. Conspiracies against him. I mean, I only think about things people negative say about me, you know. And I think that's not true. Last question is, remember to share this video even after the live one is over and subscribe to our channel. That's a good idea, isn't it? If you subscribe to this, you'll be able to keep coming back to these. And if you become a patron of the website, you know, I know I push it a lot, but it does help us to do all this. And you'll get little extras, like you'll be able to see the live videos and things like the meditations. But you know, basically it just helps us do all this, and it's thanks to the patrons, and thank you to, because I know a lot of patrons are on here today. It's thanks to you guys that we're able to buy more equipment, get all this organized, and eventually be able to do something on a bigger scale. What is the main thing Sai Baba taught you, or impression he left with you? That's a good question.
I think love, and I think be true to yourself, be kind to others. And the impression I got was that how blessed were we to be in his presence. Not many people have been in his presence, and he was literally 3 inches, say, or 6 inches away from us, and incredible things. So I think that I went to India, and when we met Sai Baba, it was a personal interview.
Yeah, it's the interview. And I think the thing that I learned really is that miracles still do happen. Not just the physical miracles, because he's called those his visiting cards. So people clamber for all that, you know, like they clamber for predictions from me, you know. But the real miracle is the transformation of the heart. That's what he talked about. And the inner transformation that can happen to someone. And you don't have to be a devotee. I mean, you don't even have to believe in Sai Baba, but the actual teachings will transform you. And it's understanding. I missed that last question. Did you catch that one?
Yeah, it just said
these are comments. Yeah,
so
okay,
glad
thank
I
you.
became a patron. Highly recommend.
And yeah, it's the things it does to you inside. And I think it kind of, it's a bit like when it clicks when you learn about mediumship. You suddenly get to a point, like when I saw Doris Stokes and all those stories you talked about, you think, my God, the world's not quite what you think it is.
I think it's the reason why we're all here, and it gives you a purpose. That's what I believe, what's happening now. And I know when we were Sai Baba, why are we here? And life, it gives us a purpose. And the message is quite simple. Love. Love or serve or. Definitely. That's his message.
Is there anything aside from money that we can donate to you on Newsend? Oh, that's very kind. But we will, hopefully later on, we might be able to ask people to volunteer. We're still at very early stages at the moment. But I mean, it's nice of you guys just helping out. I mean, when you share these videos and things, that helps a lot. Actually, if you put them on Facebook, if you post them around on Twitter and things like that, it helps get a bit of a momentum going, and that we can get the energy going for what we want to do. And it's really nice that so many of you have been kind of supporting our work. You know, when you go to India, the things that I'm amazed at is, you know, I've done some readings often to Indian people, because they obviously know that I'm interested in India, and I'm so impressed about the quiet charitable work that people do in the background. You know, you pick up on it when you're doing the reading, and they don't ask for fame and fortune or for any of this or gratitude. They just do this work. They're giving charitable work and really clearing their path, and not even expecting good karma back from it. I mean, those are all good things. And I think, you know, that's in many ways, you know, I think what Sai Baba showed when he was here is the sheer scale of what can be done when people are spiritual minded do things.
You're all like one family.
And there's no reason it can't just continue. We just all have to be good, live good, think good,
good values,
act good. You know, we all know what that means. We can't describe it, but we know what the right actions is, because we all have that conscience, don't we? We all have a conscience, and that can guide you all the time. I feel like I should have Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder. So it was an interesting broadcast, and I think we're going to need to conclude it now.
We'll say Sai Ram to all of you.
Sai Ram, yeah, that's what you say. That's what they say with
and a love from my heart to all of you, and thank you for joining us. And please keep donating to this channel, and we can do a lot more for you. Yes, so thank you again. So we're going to say bye for now. See you soon. Bye. Bye for now.